Hi, welcome to another edition of Save the Minnows 39, my channel dedicated to saving the lives of smaller animals and feeder fish. This is my first pond, Pond 1, and you'll notice that I'm doing a water change late at night. The endless volume of clean water theory. What you're hearing is a utility pump, and this is the master drain hose. I'm pumping the volume of dirty water out to bring a new clean volume in. And the truth is, I don't actually pump out all the water in this pond. There's a dragon icon here that's about 6 inches high, so I always leave about a half a foot of water, and then I immediately open up the petcock and let the new water in. The noise is a utility pump. This is a utility pump right here that can pump about 280 gallons an hour. So within about 45 minutes, I can pump out this pond. The water level is now dropping. I'm pumping out the old contaminated water. At the same time that I'm pumping the volume of dirty water out of Pond 1, I'm also refilling the water volume of my second bigger pond for my baby koi fish and my goldfish and minnows. In the spring, I hope to build a 14,000-gallon koi pond here on North Plain Road. Anyway, these are some of my fish. And, you know, fish are very intelligent, incredible creatures, and water changes are not... The water is the same water they've always lived in for the last 6 months. There's a lot of people that think that water changes are bad. It's natural well water, and most of my fish survive in it, so there's nothing harmful about it. But when the water is being refilled, they all kind of gather together in a group, and they spread out in the pond. I've already talked about the 3 filters. 3-phase filtration. I had to unplug one of my filter pumps because right now I'm plugging in the utility pump here that drains this pond. I hope to install a switch system so I don't have to plug these things in anymore and do it in a more civilized way. Water clarity is important, very important, and you know, every inventor has to face, I don't know, discrimination, judgment, or whatever. You know, at one point, they said the world was flat. And Christopher Columbus believed the world was round. He was a pioneer in his time. The traditional theory of fish keeping is that water changes are harmful and destructive. Only 10% of the water should be changed once or twice a month. I don't believe in that. I model my pond after the principles and teachings of Rudolf Steiner, because I went to a Waldorf school. Rudolf Steiner believed in one thing. How does it really occur in the natural world? Well, I don't believe in fish tanks. This is the natural world. This is a pond. It may be only 260 gallons, but it's a virtual pond. Why do I say virtual? Because virtual is an artificial representation of what happens in the real world. In the real world, a goldfish like this, or a little minnow, could swim across a 10-acre lake within a matter of 20 minutes to 45 minutes. A little minnow like this could swim across the lake within a matter of an hour and back again. That means that little minnow has millions of gallons of clean water to swim in every day. I can't provide millions of water, but I can replace the volume of the water in Pond 1 and Pond 2 within a matter of 3.5 to 4 hours, more like 4 hours every day. I can replace the water volumes up to 85% in both ponds. I leave 15% of the water in Pond 1 and Pond 2 while I do a water change. I know a lot of aquarists will think I'm nuts and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, but the truth is, I have some, I can find them here. I have some expensive koi fish here, and none of my koi fish in my possession have died doing this. I've been doing this for the last 2 months, the endless volume water theory, and we have 2 high-capacity wells here on North Plain Road, so the wells are well up to the challenge. I guess I could say I burn through 4,300 gallons of water a week, but that's what it takes to keep my fish alive. How do I know what I'm talking about? I do. A lot of these guys were feeder fish, and before I used to only change the water once every 3 weeks, and I had about 10 fish die every single day. Now that I've been doing these water changes on a regular basis and I've created what they call the virtual ponds, I only lose 2 to 3 fish a day maximum. Sometimes I have days where I lose no fish. The fish that die are usually fish that might get a small minnow that might get stuck in a filter pump even though I have a guard on it. Or a fish that has ick that I got from a pet store that I wasn't able to notice. This pond here, pond 1, houses about 200 plus fish. This noise is a little bit scary for my fish, so I have to always reassure them that everything will work out. And people might laugh about this, but the fish have senses. They have hearing. They can actually hear, they can see, they can smell just like us. And they have a memory. Every time this pump turns on, the fish kind of hide. And every time I refill this water from this pet pot here, all the fish will gather in this same corner. Every fish in my aquarium goes to the same area every single time. So I'm going to demonstrate the fact that fish need a routine, that fish have a memory, and that fish adjust to a certain pattern no matter what it is. When this pond is refilling, I will be back on this channel and I will show you that the fish all will gather in this one particular spot as the new water comes into this pond. This is scientific proof that the fish have a memory. Fish are very evolved and they're very intelligent. We seem to think that smaller animals don't possess intelligence, but the fish do. Right now, this noise is a little bit traumatic for the fish. They don't really like it, so they kind of hide out under the rocks until the new water comes in. Here's a goldfish. Here's a goldfish hiding. She's a little bit scared. So I always have to say the following thing to reassure my fish. It's okay, my little minnows. Whenever I take the water away, I bring the water right back. You have nothing to be afraid of. When I change your environment, I bring in the best. When I take out the old water, I bring in the new. You have nothing to be afraid of, my little minnows. You guys are wonderful fish. I give you everything that I can. The new water will come in soon, my little minnows. It's okay, my little minnows. Now, some people might think I'm nuts for doing this. They might laugh at me. But I always use the same rhythm and tone in my voice. A very relaxing, calming tone of voice, because the fish need that rhythm. And I always do my water changes precisely at the same time every day. So that it's like a tide. The animals can adjust to a tide. Some tides have they're on the shoreline of the ocean. Some tides go up and down by as much as 10 or 12 feet, and these crabs and these sea urchins adjust to it. It's a tide of life, a natural rhythm where the water level goes down and it goes up. This pond mimics the tide of the ocean, but the tide is about the old water going in and the new water coming in. So I mimic the tidal function of the ocean, but the tide also combines replenishing dirty water with fresh water. I believe this is how, if Rudolf Steiner were here today, Rudolf Steiner would never keep his fish in a tank with the same 10 gallons of water for a month at a time or 2 or 3 weeks. He would have them be in a pond, and there are no right angles. Look at this. There are no right angles in my pond because right angles do not occur in nature. It's circular. All my equipment is circular. All my filters are in a circular pattern. And my air bubbler bar, this is what I call a horizontal bubbler bar. It functions much better than a little air stone. I have 5 of them. Bubbler bar 1, bubbler bar 2, bubbler bar 3, bubbler bar 4, and bubbler bar 5. All 5 of my bubbler bars create a circular pattern, like the circumference or circle of the Earth. And in the center, it's very quiet. It's kind of like a circular hurricane of air and aeration. All my filters are arranged in a circular pattern. I have 5 air stones, 5-phase aeration, 5 gravel filters, gravel filter 1, gravel filter 2, gravel filter 3, gravel filter 4, and gravel filter 5. And I also have what they call 5-phase lighting. I have a fluorescent light behind my movie screen, which you can't see, another fluorescent light here, another ultraviolet fluorescent light here, and then my 5th phase is what I call my central lighting bar that contains 3 incandescent lamp holders that contain compact fluorescent bulbs. So and also there are 3 of them. So this pond is based on what I call the 5-phase principle, like 5 lug nuts on a car tire. The 5 phases of life. What are the phases of life in the natural world? Lighting, which I've just touched and focused on. Aeration and filtration, either biological or mechanical. In this case, it's mechanical. And also the tide of the ocean. It's an artificial tide created by my water replacement system. Notice that I use different color hoses so that I can depict what goes on. The gray hose here is my water inlet hose. This brings fresh water to my ponds. And right here, I have a T-fitting, and this line here tees off and goes into pond 1 with a petcock shut-off valve. And then the gray water inlet hose is neatly zip-tied, runs along the baseboard line, and it comes into pond 2, which is refilling. I also have an 850-gallon-per-hour master drain pump, a pond pump, submersible, and there's a green hose. The green hose here is a waste line. The green hose here brings out the dirty water for both pond 1 and pond 2. This video may be too long for YouTube. I'm quickly going to go outside and show you where the wastewater goes. This is a waste line right here. If I can get on it. And the water is now coming out at a rate of 260 gallons an hour. There's the master waste line for pond 2, which is bigger, and there's also the waste line for the smaller pond. Just drains out on the driveway and runs out. And this here is my water inlet line, and because winter is here, it's wrapped in insulation and has heat tape going along it so it cannot freeze. Thank you for watching another wonderful edition of Save the Minnows 39. And this is what it takes to be an aquarist: dedication, love, and patience, and perseverance.